Good morning from the unemployment garden. Just kidding. It's not the unemployment garden, but it's just kind of funny. The timing of life. Huh? This is the tomatoes. Look, we got 4 now. Which I actually need to thin this guy, but yay! Obviously, I don't expect these vegetables to save me during unemployment. That was not the purpose. I just happened to plant them a few days before unexpectedly unemployed. Also, a parsley popped up, so now I have tomatoes, parsley, and rosemary. Still no lettuce. Not feeling great about those seeds, but I also don't know exactly which ones they were, so I don't know. We'll plant some more lettuce. No zucchinis yet. That grow light is so bright. Sorry. Of course, it's such a dreary... Keeps going from rain to snow, so I imagine it's a real fun commute out there. Guess I don't have to do it. I've got bird TV on for the cats, and they're absolutely obsessed. They're so funny. I guess I wanted to chat with you guys a little bit on what I'm thinking is my next chapter, which I've already kind of alluded to, that like even if my job wants me back, because technically I am on a furlough, not unemployed necessarily, but the way they treated me doesn't give me a lot of hope. I know everyone, that's how they have to treat everyone in every job, but I don't know, maybe it's just because it's my first experience with furlough or unemployment, anything of the nature, and it's just been a little weird for me. I feel like I'm on vacation, but not in a great way, like a weird limbo vacation. It's got the wheels spinning, and certainly I've mentioned like the timing of everything is just so wild, and just because of the way that my heart has been feeling lately about things and where I want to be, what I genuinely want to be doing, like growing vegetables, which I know it sounds ridiculous, but my long-term dream has always been to have a farm and a homestead and live that life. I just didn't think it was going to happen for like a few more years out. I had steps I wanted to complete in between, like buying more house hacks so I can get more rental properties and increase my passive income to, get to financial independence. My aim with that was just to get to a place where I had enough incoming to cover what I need to exist. Obviously, that's the point of anyone's financial independence, but I'm saying that because to just outline that I didn't have hopes of becoming some big ass landlord or some real estate mogul or just like keep amassing real estate wealth. I just wanted a few to cover me. That's it. And just so that I could have my time freedom, because that's the only thing I don't love about having a W-2 job, other than maybe it's not the right fit, not right environment, right job, whatever. Even if you do find the dream job, that's cool, but I just personally want my time freedom. All of it. And I want that time freed up so I can grow vegetables and live my homestead life quietly in the woods, minimally, very, back to nature. Oh my God, is this the weirdest explanation ever? Probably, but I feel like you know what I'm saying, right? Like, I just want a simple life. I want to grow my own food. I want to preserve it, and I want to eat it through the winter. Repeat the next year, because there's something so beautiful and so, how do I explain? It just feels right in the soul to live with that cycle of nature. Like spring, summer is like go time. The days are long. It's beautiful to be outside and with the earth. And oh my God, I'm sounding like that person right now. I'm not trying to. I don't know how else to explain this. But you get it. If you have a garden, if you have a homestead, you get it. Like, I just want to provide for myself, and I just it kills every part of me to go to the store and pay ridiculous amounts of money for organic, dainty little vegetables that, even though they're organic, were still sprayed with pesticides anyway, and they're still in a plastic packaging, and it's just like, and it came from elsewhere. Nothing about that supports my community, and not that I don't care about everybody's community, but I just think overall we need to get our food system back to a local level and stop with the trucking not great nutrition, not great taste food all over the damn place. And it's a whole thing. And the principles that I want for my life are just simple and let me do me, let me live with the earth. Oh my God, everything I'm saying makes me feel like that person. But you guys get it. I just want to go be a biological creature on this planet with the rest of the biological creatures, because at the end of the day, that's what we are. We have circadian rhythms and we have seasonal rhythms, just like every single being on this planet. And I'm sick of feeling like I just don't like this spending the majority of your waking hours under fluorescent light in a cubicle for someone else style shit. And then like I'm left for my own life on the evenings and weekends. I don't want that. So let's circle back around to the rental properties. The one rental property that I have, as I've mentioned plenty of times, I bought that as like here's my chance to cut my teeth on real estate investing for pretty dang cheap. I bought that house real damn cheap at a time that was kind of in the middle of the real estate explosion, and it just like it's doubled in value. Its rent growth is about to go up. I've had a tenant in there for 2 years. She was supposed to be out at the end of December, asked if she could stay another month, so she's in there right now, leaving at the end of this month, January, I presume, unless she asks for another extension, which is fine. But if she doesn't, they've already told me that the market rate for my rental property is now $270 a month more. That property's already been cash flowing pretty dang well. Just, I replaced the HVAC so you can like count that against the cash flow, I guess, for the year. But month to month, it's still cash flowing pretty well. And if it rents for what they're forecasting it can rent for, that's quite a good extra chunk of cash flow. It's like, man, that little house that could, And so in all of these thoughts I'm having about the whole hilarity of the timing of all of these events, and it's got me thinking, maybe there's a reason that buying a house hack hasn't worked out for this long. And you guys know I've been looking for other apartments too. Maybe there's a reason that hasn't worked out for this period of time. And I've had my eye on the real estate market the entire time I've lived here in New Hampshire. And it's been 6 years now. And it's just gone up and up and up. Like, I guess you could say I'm priced out of my comfort level from New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and at least the coastal regions. So maybe it's a sign. Like, stop beating your head against the wall trying to find a property that is probably going to be less than desirable, because in my price range, that's what I'm looking at, obviously. Fixer-uppers to some degree. And I don't know, maybe that's not the move. There's other ways. So I have a good chunk saved for real estate down payment. That was going to be for my next property. And in this meantime, I've just been saving all the cash flow from my rental property that I do have just to add to it. And maybe I don't need to do that anymore. With the unemployment situation, so let's say, or the furlough, I guess I should say, if at the end of 90 days they do decide they don't want me, which again, that's kind of what I'm feeling like is going to happen, then it's kind of like, then what? The job market is not great right now. I've been looking. It's not great. Everything is just shoving me in the direction of maybe don't do the house hacking. Find a different way. And if my ultimate end goal is to own land up north somewhere, maybe it's just time to do that instead. And I'm not saying I'm going to go jump in and buy anything, obviously. Not at the moment. But it's got all these wheels spinning, and maybe I need to stop worrying about the house hack situation to get the passive income. There are plenty of other ways to monetize land, even up north, that, have always been in the back of my mind as things I would do in the future when I do get my homestead. What if I just focus on those now instead? And then that way I'm not buying properties that are south of me to live in while I fix them up, get them rentable, whatever, stabilized and all that good stuff, and then move to the next one and repeat and get a couple of those and then move north. So then I have properties down south that I don't want to self-manage ever, but it's still not like I'm going to be close to them. So, maybe it just makes more sense to not worry about all that. Leave that step out, leave that headache out, and just go north and figure out the next move. Also, like, house hacks up north are a heck of a lot cheaper. It's just, I haven't felt comfortable making that move just because up north is way less job opportunity. And don't even get me started on the dating scene. It hasn't been going well. Certainly moving more remote feels like I'd be shooting myself in the foot when it comes to dating as well. Although, what do I know? That maybe there's some guy up there that's just been like, when is someone new gonna move to this damn town? I don't know. A girl can dream. So obviously the job opportunity situation is most concerning. The thing that's tough about my background and my profession, being a marine biologist or an environmental scientist in general, is those are not generally remote jobs. Those are not desktop computer jobs. Those are hands-on, in the field jobs. And so the possibility of me landing a remote job, anything above like data entry or something like really basic, is pretty slim. So I'm either looking at a really basic job to bridge me in the meantime, which is gonna be pretty dang low paying, or I'm just gonna have to find something else in person, some kind of field tech work. I'm not saying that's not impossible. I'm just saying it's going to be harder because there's just few opportunities, which therefore increases competition and things like that. So I don't really know what to expect as far as the job scene goes, but ultimately at the end of this 90-day furlough, if my current employer doesn't want me, I can't just continue to sit in this apartment either and just bleed money, because that's not fun. The whole unemployment benefit system has been a little bit frustrating. So I don't exactly know what I'll be getting, but I think it said $427 a week I'd be eligible for unemployment. So that's just over $1,700 a month, roughly, which this apartment rent alone is $1,555 a month, plus utilities, and luckily heat and hot water is included here, but not electricity or internet. That's a pretty tight margin to hold me over. And again, thank goodness I have cash reserves. It's fine. But I don't want to just sit here and unnecessarily bleed money any more than I have to. Plus, I've been looking to leave this location for a while anyways. Like, I've been feeling stuck here. I don't know how many times I've said that in videos. What feels right to me is like, just go move north. If that's where you want to be, go. There's much cheaper apartments, and I can figure out the rest. If I can at least stave off some of the bleeding from my housing situation, I can make anything work. I have very basic, minimal amounts of bills. Like, the only variables in this equation are my student loan payment, which that's always going to be there, and it's always going to be income dependent, so whatever. I'm never going to worry too much about that one, which I understand many people have many feels about on the student loan scene, but so do I. And then the other thing is health insurance, which, oh yeah, so that's, as of right now in my furlough, I can pay $392 a month to remain an employer sponsored. So that's coming out of the $1,700 per month unemployment for at least this 90-day period. So the unemployment does not even cover my rent and my health insurance. So that worries me. You guys know I've been concerned about health insurance for quite some time. And I've mentioned that I've been concerned about health insurance every time I talk about ever being financially independent, because health insurance scares the crap out of me. It can get really out of control, which I already think it is. And especially if something goes wrong or you end up sick or you get hurt or God forbid, something way out of your control, and it'll just, that's something I'll have to keep into account as well. So health insurance and rent, I don't know. But at least if I move and find something cheaper, find somewhere cheaper to live, I have no doubt in my ability to find a job. I have worked every position you can think of in the restaurant, hospitality, retail industries. I've done it all. I have no problem slinging food, dropping groceries to the yuppies at their chalet because they don't feel like leaving. I'm down. I don't care. I'll bring you groceries. There's so many opportunities. It's not like when I say I'm going up north, if you've never been to New England or New Hampshire specifically, it's not just a dead zone up there. It's actually quite touristy. We have the White Mountains, and hiking the 4,000 footers is like a thing. There's always tourism. And certainly in summer and then in winter with snowmobiling and skiing and winter hiking and all the crazy outdoor enthusiasts. I love it. But also, like, leaf peeping season in the fall is actually the biggest tourism season in New England, which shocked me when I learned that a few years back. Just because in my mind, I was like, oh, summer and winter, obviously. No, leaf peeping. Like, so it's touristy all the time. It's not like I'm going to go up there and just be desolate. And I don't even know how far up north I'm talking. I don't know if I'm talking like an hour or like 4 hours. I have no idea. Guys, I don't know. I'm just talking it out, feeling out my options. Ultimately, the point of bringing up the rental property is like, why do I feel like it's not okay to live on that income now? Yes, I bought that rental property with the long-term foresight of it's going to be a property in my portfolio that provides a piece of my passive income. So if I already have a chunk of down payment saved, like, it's okay to use the cash flow now to live on if I need to, or sustain me for a little while until I can shift back into being able to save 100% of it and add to that and let that grow again. But if for right now I have this like transition period in life where maybe it's going to take a little bit of time for me to figure out exactly, a more solid, concrete path forward. So things are a little up in the air in the short term. I feel like it's totally fine to rely on that rental property income in the moment because that's what I bought it for. Right? Like, what does it matter if what am I saving it for? I saved up that money, bought the damn thing, and have been doing the landlord thing with it for a little over 2 years now. How long's it been? And yeah, things are going to come up with it. But again, I still have like a chunk of emergency fund, right? So like that 40K I have saved for a down payment, like I'm not just going to go blow that. That's still going to be hanging, waiting for me to figure out what am I going to do with it. But in the meantime, if I'm living off the cash flow of the rental property and I still have that chunk, if something happened with the rental property, I've got the chunk. It's okay. If suddenly it needed a new roof and a boiler all at once, which not a boiler, it doesn't have I just replaced the whole HVAC system this past summer, but you know what I mean. If shit hit the fan all of a sudden, like, it's fine. Everything's fine. So I guess I'm just maybe like verbally trying to talk out my thought process with, it feels like the time to move. It feels like the time to go find a cheaper place to live, at least. So what if it's a year? And so what if it's a year of not having the income that I would really like and the things that go along with that. But also, it could be a year of living in a location that I feel like I could want to be in the long term, or at least closer to it, so I can get a feel for what it's like living a bit more rural, or a lot more rural. See if I'm truly okay with that. And it gives me like a landing base up there to be able to look around. What do land prices look like up here? What kind of areas do I actually enjoy up here, or would make more sense in the future, whatever that looks like. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay. It's like 1 year. It's not a big deal. I've done a lot of years in really shitty hard transition periods. If I mean your whole life is a transition period, right? It's just moments of feeling more settled and then moments of feeling less settled. And this is just a less settled moment, but it also feels like the perfect time to just go try the damn thing and challenge myself, prove to myself I can make it work. That is what I want. And find a way, just like I always do. I know I talked about this already, but I've never not righted myself onto my own 2 feet. And no matter the scenario, and I've had some scenarios, okay? I've moved so many times. I've lived in several different states. Like this is just the next chapter, and this just feels like, I think it just feels different because of the unemployment situation, and I've never been like let go or furloughed. So it's throwing me a little bit. It does feel a little bit like a chink in the confidence, just because it does, no matter which way you slice it, it was definitely not my fault for any lack of anything I did. It was just straight up, there's no work. But it does still feel, like you guys said, it feels like a relationship breakup, or like, feels like you got ghosted by your company, right? But like politely, here's a furlough. We kind of want to let you go. I'm just making this up. I have no idea. But here's a furlough for 90 days where we kind of like keep you lingering on the edge, but in reality, they probably know most people are going to go look for other employment during furlough. So it's like, please go away, but like quietly, so we don't have to fire you. It feels like the polite ghosting of corporate America. I'm so sorry. This conversation went all over the map. Sorry about that. I hope it all kind of made sense. I don't know. There's just so many things that play into the decisions I feel like I'm coming to right now, and I'm not rushing anything by any means. I feel no immediate need to get out of here. Obviously, I do kind of want to see what shakes out with the furlough, at least a little bit. They're going to be like reevaluating their need for me every 30 days, so maybe at least wait till the first 30-day mark and see if I hear from them, see if I get any indicators one way or another, which again, like, I don't want to go back, but also I'm not going to be stupid and just be like, no, fuck you guys. You know, if they were like, hey, we have work for you now. As icky as it would feel going into the office, at least, like, and I know I'm not the only one that got furloughed at my company. My supervisor straight up said, "This, you are not the only one this happened to today." And I don't know how many other people from the Boston office. I don't know if I was the only one. We have offices all over the country, so I have no flippin' idea. But that's when I said it would feel embarrassing to like go into the office after that and feel like I had a point to prove. It would most notably be embarrassing if I was the only one that got furloughed out of the Boston office, and then I had to go show my face in the Boston office. That would feel really uncomfortable for me, especially because the demographic that even goes into the office is all like the fresh into their career, like 20s and young 30-somethings, which, whatever, I'll go hang with them. But if I was furloughed and they weren't, like, that feels super uncomfortable. And they might just be someone younger has been at the company for many more years than I have, and so they're just established in their workload and the projects that they were working on. And I was just newer to the company and therefore hadn't gotten plugged into as many jobs yet, even though like the whole offshore wind thing, I was like keyed up as an important player in that aspect of it, but obviously they don't care, I guess. I don't know. So I guess that was all I meant by being uncomfortable in that situation. And feeling like I would feel like I had some point to prove if I did go back there. I know I'm just being irrational. People get furloughed all the time and go back. But again, if it was just me out of the Boston office, that would make me feel not great. Just F you, corporate America. F you. On the whole, F you. Even if they did eventually want me back, I just... And I felt like I had to take the work at the time. Piper, honey? You are not going to get that birdie, honey. She's so fucking cute. If they did want me back, I would certainly still be keeping my eye on the job market, obviously, because shitty corporations are shitty corporations, no matter what. It doesn't matter how good the people are that you directly work with. Like, there's always the puppet masters that, you know, yeah, just reaffirms all of the reasons why I would like to be financially independent. Because I would never treat me like that. And I hope all that made sense. I know not all of you are going to agree with my decisions, and I don't care. I'm not putting this out there for agreement. I'm just putting this out there to share my situation. I don't know. This is such a weird situation I find myself in. Not weird because I know it happens all the time, but it's just new to me, I guess. So I'm just trying to navigate it and talk through my options, and I don't know, you guys always have a lot of good perspectives that I don't necessarily see myself, but you can point it out to me and say, hey, Rachel, like, you have this option that you never thought of. And it's like, oh, yeah. So maybe I'm just sharing, and maybe you guys, through me talking, have thought of other things that I can't necessarily see by being so close to the situation. And I guess on that foot, let me know how I can be more helpful in my situation or add value to you guys. Is there any other specific things that you guys would like me to talk about on this whole suddenly unemployed topic? I feel like at a loss for what to share or not a loss for what to talk about. Like, there's so many things I would want to talk about, but I want to still be helpful and not just throw up a bunch of rambling videos. I genuinely want to know, if you were faced with this situation, like, what kind of questions do you have in your mind? Like, oh, if that happened to me, what would I do about XYZ or something like that? I don't know. Let's talk about it. I hope all this made sense. And even if it doesn't make sense to my like lines of thought and moving up north and why would you do that? I understand not everyone's going to understand that. That's totally okay. In fact, it'd be kind of weird if we all agreed on everything all the time, but this might sound a little twisted, but I'm actually feeling like this is going to be a fun challenge. Guys, I don't know. I feel nothing but excitement about the challenge of making it through this life pivot and really testing myself. What can I really do here? How can I really get scrappy and just continue to further reduce my expenses and increase my income without so much worrying about corporate America's input? I don't know. Maybe this is a completely inappropriate time to feel joyful glee about financial challenge. But I do. Is that super weird? I'm also taking a little bit of comfort from the fact that deep down, I do feel excitement and joy for this next unknown chapter that is most likely going to be at least a little bit of a financial drain on me. But I know it will be temporary because I know me and I know I've always got myself, but I guess I would feel more nervous about it if I was feeling nervous or scared. I'm not. I'm feeling pumped. Piper's got the zoomies. She's pretty jazzed as well. I feel excited, and I always operate on my gut feelings. I always have. They've never steered me wrong. When I've ignored them, things have gone badly. I don't want to ignore it. There's no reason to. I feel excited, and I'm gonna go with that. There's no point in trying to, I don't know, browbeat myself into feeling crappy about this situation or scared. I don't ever want to be scared, operate in fear, or anything like that. I feel excited and up for this challenge of making it through this phase of transition. However long it is, whatever it looks like, it doesn't matter. I feel excited. So I'm going to lean into that and not lean into fear or being scared about what the future holds. I'm excited. Thank you for listening to the rambles. But so seriously, let me know if there's anything in any way I can be helpful for you guys in this situation. I would love to hear about it. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you soon. I don't know when, but soon. Bye, guys.